Hey there. Today's a really big day. This is the playbill for Panama Hattie. I have several playbills for Panama Hattie because this show has a longer run. Look what I found. Look what's happened. All theaters air conditioned. So this really is a turning point for a lot of reasons. For Ethel Merman, it marks her very first above the title, no co-stars. She is it. Buddy DeSilva thinks she's made it there, and so she has. This opened in 1940. This playbill is from the week of April 7th, 1941. It ends up running over 500 performances, proving that she can carry a big Broadway show all by herself on her tiny little shoulders. She seems bigger than life, but she was actually a very small woman. Buddy DeSilva presents Ethel Merman in Panama Hattie with Arthur Treacher, Betty Hutton, James Dunn, Virginia Field, Joan Carroll, Rags Ragland, Pat Harrington, Frank Hires. Music and lyrics by Cole Porter. The same artistic setup as Du Barry Was a Lady. Now that we're kind of chugging along, I'm going to get to the bios first, so I kind of know how much time I have to spend goofing off with the playbill. Also, let me show you this. With this show, makes the cover of Time magazine. Look at the eyelashes. We're going to talk about the eyelashes on the next show. For Panama Hattie, the bio reads as follows. Sitting comfortably before a roaring radiator and hearing Ethel Merman playing and singing some of the melodies she has made famous, you seem to clutch Psyche by the hand as almost imperceptibly, your head filling with the incense and smoke, you drifted out of Miss Merman's living room, which looks like a Du Barry set, and into the mists of a decade gone by. The first you remember of Ethel Merman, she was blasting I've Got Rhythm to house-shaking applause across the footlights of the Alvin Theater in 1930. But long before that, even though you did not realize it, Miss Merman, then known as Ethel Zimmerman, had been singing with the same gusto, if not the same acclaim. When she was 5 years old, her father took her to Camp Upton, where she sang, "How Are You Going to Keep Him Down on the Farm?" and received her first taste of public approbation. The soldiers liked her singing, and it's been that way ever since. This performance, however, was probably not up to the standard to which you have become accustomed. After all, even in Kentucky, where it is claimed that all whiskey is good whiskey, it is admitted that some whiskey is not so good as the rest. What does that mean? In the early days of her career, Ethel Merman was available for dances, weddings, birthdays, and fish fries. She sang at small social gatherings. She sang at political rallies. She sang in vaudeville. She sang at Les Ambassadeurs with Jimmy Durante, and soon after that, she was discovered by Vinton Friedley and cast in Girl Crazy. Ethel Merman burst upon Broadway a new star, and a new star burns with sudden light. She sang Samson and Delilah and I've Got Rhythm, and she set New York on its big brownstone ear. Not since Marilyn Miller had there been a music comedienne of such unquestioned authority. Her absolute precision of rhythm and phrasing has been analyzed and explained beyond the reach of elucidation. Rocketing along the road to stardom, Ethel Merman sang Life Is Just a Bowl of Cherries in George White Scandals, Edie Was a Lady in Take a Chance, and I Get a Kick Out of You in Anything Goes. She was the sensation of Red Hot and Blue, Stars in Your Eyes, and Du Barry Was a Lady. For the past 5 years, the Merman has commuted between New York and Hollywood, where she was singing star of We're Not Dressing, Anything Goes, Strike Me Pink, and Alexander's Ragtime Band. She likes Hollywood, but doesn't want to live there. You go out there and work your head off, and then you find at the end of your picture that you'd have ended up with more money working for a smaller salary in New York, she says. I don't get that. The last time Ethel Merman worked for a small salary was in 1929, when she was stenographer in an auto appliance plant in Long Island City for $23 a week. The money she made from her appearances in cafes and nightclubs was extra. She was afraid to give up her daytime job until 1930, when her salary was $350 a week as a featured singer in Girl Crazy. In 1938, it was approximately $3,500 a week as the star of Red Hot and Blue. She received $4,500 a week from Paramount for the film Anything Goes. Right up to her surprise marriage, when Panama Hattie was getting out of swaddling clothes, Ethel lived with her family in a small, compact, and comfortable apartment full of French furniture finished in dull gold with ornate designs of flowers and mottled grain. The Zimmermans, Ethel's old friends still call her Zimmy, have now been 7 years in this place. While Ethel was at home, her mother never would let her type on the desk because it might scratch the varnish. Meanwhile, her dressing table was accumulating a collection of gift bottles of perfume which has been valued at $2,000. Ethel likes perfume all right, but she has no real hobbies except suntanning and Scrappy, her wire-haired fox terrier. She plays a little tennis. She has been in the habit of spending summer weekends at the Atlantic Beach Club. She likes prize fights and baseball. And she is the kind of girl who likes to take her shoes off. Merman's vivacity is not confined to the boards of the 46th Street Theater. At midnight, when the makeup has been taken off and evening clothes put on, that is when Ethel Merman starts on her few hours of play. Her friends are mostly theatrical people with the same hours of work and leisure. The Cole Porters, Moss Hart, Buddy DeSilva, Vinton Friedley, Bert Lahr. Her favorite night spots are the Monte Carlo, El Morocco, and Jack White's Club 18. After the opening of Panama Hattie, Walter Winchell saw her and said, "Ethel, you're good. You won't be news until you're bad." There you have it. Holy smokes. Real quick, I did just want to talk about some of the people that are in this. Arthur Treacher, of course, he plays the little girl. There's an 8-year-old girl in this show, Joan Carroll. And Arthur Treacher, who started a fish and chips chain, plays the nanny to this little girl. Betty Hutton, who will, of course, become a real star in Hollywood. Rags Ragland, and these two here, Pat Harrington and Frank Hires, they play three sailors, Windy, Woozy, and Scat. Pat Harrington and Frank Hires are on loan from a nightclub. They're over here doing a piece of legitimate theater with the blessing of the club. Rags Ragland is a pure and simple vaudevillian. This is someone, Ethel Merman absolutely loved him and loved his genius. And it's the only person she has ever talked about. You know, she has a very powerful work ethic. She totally understood the fact that he needed alcohol, and he needed alcohol before he went on stage. So he must have been great with a snootful. Yeah, I mean, how about that bio? All those facts and figures and numbers thrown around. It's just very interesting to me that that's clearly what an audience wants to know, how successful you are. I don't understand it. Also, I wanted to point out they stopped putting played by. Finally, that's been bugging me for a long time. And the synopsis of the numbers comes along. Accompanist to Miss Merman, Lou Kessler. So we'll start finding him here and there. But they do the songs, and then at the end, it shows you the singing girls and the dancing girls and the dancing boys. So they're not over there with the cast. They seem to be thought of completely as a musical phenomenon back here with the musical numbers. And I did want to point out Jane Allison, but that is June Allison, who was a dancer in a number of Broadway shows. Lucille Bremer and Vera Ellen, pre-hyphenate. And I would like to get to the bottom of Ruth Merman. It's 1940. We're having a presidential election this year. FDR will win for an unprecedented third time. It's never happened before, and it's never happened since. So 1940, most people today haven't checked into her career yet, but now we're in the know, right? And we know that she's a big deal. and the fun is just beginning. Thank you. I will see you next time when we will be talking about something for the boys, which is even more Cole Porter. So I'll see you then. Since I've been on the wagon, I'm certain drink is a major crime. For when you lay off the liquor, you feel so much slicker. Well, that is most of the time. But there are moments, sooner or later, when it's tough, I got to say, not to say, waiter. Excuse me, coming through. Just want to get a little closer to the bar if I can. Excuse me. Thank you. Hi, Mike. Make it another old-fashioned, please. Make it another double old-fashioned, please. Make it for one who's due to join the disillusioned crew. Make it for one of love's new refugees. Once high in my castle, I reigned supreme. And oh, what a castle built on a heavenly dream. Then quick as a lightning flash, my castle began to